What are you playing?
Gallagher.
Again?
Your question implies that I stopped.
Why don't you try something new?
Because there aren't any new Game Boy games. The system stopped in 2003, and the last commercial game was decades ago.
Well, try this then.
This isn't a game, it's a piece of paper.
It's a link for a new game. Now go and play it.
Recently, I was contacted by a lovely chap in a Spanish prison who said he had access to a massive fortune that he would share with me if I could just send him some money to buy his way out of jail, and then he would split the loot once he got out. It seemed like a really good deal to me, so while I wait for him to make the arrangements, I thought I'd have a look at a brand new game for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. The game revolves around two young boys who discover that aliens have invaded the Earth, and they are determined to stop them. In typical young lads on an adventure style, their mother seems weirdly okay with their tween offspring battling the forces of another world, so off they go on a quest through time. Is it just me, or does every game with a child protagonist have to have neglectful or bizarrely absent parents for it to work? It actually makes me think that none of these events are actually occurring, and what we're seeing is a mother who's just humouring her children because she knows they're doing make-believe games. Or is that what we're meant to think? That could be what we're supposed to think. Think about it. Maybe that's what the aliens are counting on. Perhaps only the children have realised the planet is actually under attack, and all the adults who could possibly pose a legitimate threat are rendered completely oblivious. Now that is a plotline that I could get behind. The game takes place across 5 levels, with bonus levels and a final boss stage as well, which takes the total up to 11. That's not a bad length for a handheld game, and the gameplay is balanced just right between tricky platforming and annoying enemy positioning. The only level that I had a real issue with was the third one, set in feudal Japan. There's a tricky jump in that level which took me a while to get to grips with, so I kept accidentally falling into the same lava pit so many times that I was worried it was going to start charging me rent. Aside from that, I had an absolute blast with this game. It is genuinely good fun. There's a physical copy of the game available, but I was sent a download code to use on an emulator for this review. And yes, I was sent a free review copy, but that wouldn't cloud my opinions of the game. The 5 levels are decent length, and mostly I had a lot of fun with the game. It took about half an hour to complete, which is pretty good, and it's on medium difficulty that I did it, so if you're experienced with platform games, I would actually suggest you go for harder mode if you want a proper challenge right from the start. Graphically, the game is adorable. The backgrounds are clean and it's always obvious what's going on. The enemies are exceptionally cute, and the various costumes that the kids wear on each level, plus the amazing bonus stages, are just fantastic. My personal favourite is Magic's outfit on level 5, where his policeman's helmet makes him look like an angry triangle. I genuinely laughed out loud when I saw him trying to batter aliens with a truncheon. It's so good. Like, seriously, I love this. You might be wondering who this Magic guy is, and it's a fair question. Well, he's one of the programmer's children, as is his brother Legend. Both kids are playable characters with their own unique abilities, and you'll need to play as both of them in order to progress properly through each level. Magic is a melee-focused fighter who can stomp on enemies while wielding close-quarter weapons. He's very useful when enemies are nearby to where you're going to land on a platform, or just for clearing out an area full of baddies in rapid sequence. Legend, on the other hand, is a ranged fighter, whose projectile weapons are best used for crowd control and shooting aliens that are blocking your way before you leap into a new area. On each level, the boys get new weapons to fight with, but it's more of a cosmetic thing than an actual game changer. Both kids play basically the same way throughout the game, so once you get the hang of how they work, you're all set regardless of which level you're on. Each level is set in a different time period, which is cool. It starts in modern day, jumps back to the medieval times, then we're off to feudal Japan, quite nice, before landing us in ancient Rome. After that, it's a quick hop, skip and jump over to London in the 1960s, complete with Cockney accents, before the final showdown takes place on the alien mothership. The levels are all arranged as a series of platforms, often needing you to travel both horizontally and vertically. It makes good use of vertical space, which you don't often see in a traditional handheld platformer. And also, there's the occasional need to double back on yourself via a second route in order to find all of the aliens, pick up the special items, and locate the warp zone to the bonus level. These bonus levels are where things get really interesting. Every bonus level is different, and it plays homage to a classic game. There's the Mario-themed level where you swim through the sea, collecting items and fighting seahorses. If you've ever played Super Mario Land, you'll get the reference immediately. Then there's the level where you're a Ghostbuster, climbing the infamous Zool building from the NES game. Only this time, it's actually done properly, so it feels like a game, and not a developer trying desperately to suck all the fun out of you. Oh, and there's the Dig Dug homage as well. Gotta love a bit of Dig Dug, especially with that ridiculously cute hat your character is wearing. I love it, it's great. The bonus stages are fantastic. They all look different, they play different, they're really good. But as with the bonus stages, every single level's graphics are different too. So is the music. The soundtrack of this game is amazing. I kept recognising famous tunes, but the game mixes in a huge amount of its own tunes as well, which turns the whole thing into both a homage to the past and a wholly new kick-ass soundtrack of its very own. I'm really impressed. All in all, this is a damn good game, and I'm really happy that I got to play it. You can get a copy from the Retro Room website, and if you're into retro platform action games, I highly recommend it. It's fast-paced, it's fun, and it plays really well. If I had to choose a downside to it, the only thing I would pick is the final level, where you're fighting on an alien mothership. It's a bit too easy for my liking. Nevertheless, I finished the game feeling satisfied, and I can't say fairer than that, because it's good, old-fashioned fun. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe kirk-robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.